couple new cars in my lifetime, but most of the time they're, as my mama would say, when you buy a used car, you're buying somebody else's problems. Not exactly true. Most times when I buy a used car, they're in pretty good shape because I'm pretty careful who I buy them from. But I know all about the wrenches and the sockets and the grease gun, and every turn of the screw and the nuts and the bolts and how they backfire through the carburetors. And the tires can be bald and they may leak, but you can re-groove them with a hot iron, and oftentimes they're just a bucket of rust. But this old truck gets me from here to there, grinding gears and slipping clutch. The steering's loose, but when I put that pedal to the metal, it screams like holy hell. And I pump them binders, I pump them brakes, but the shoes are shot. Yeah, but she gets me from here to there, and all that rolled and pleated pretty interior, it's worn thin and the paint is faded. And she gets a couple quarts of oil to the gallon, and the battery's weak, especially on a cold day in the middle of winter, and the windshield's cracked, and the vacuum wipers only work when they're going downhill. And I suppose that's exactly where I'm headed. And like me, missing a few lug nuts, and the back seat, of course, is just like new. And one headlight and taillight are plumb burned out. But she's my best friend, and this old picnic gets me from here to there with every turn of the screw, with every turn of the screw. The entire Main Street, was jammed with pickup trucks. The worst pickup line I've ever seen or heard. There was hot rods and pickups and everything else there. Hendersonville, North Carolina. That's where my parents settled, between there and Florida in their retirement. Sadly enough, or depending how you look at it, on the old courthouse steps, the KKK would assemble. I don't know if I approve of that, but who am I to judge another human being's sentiments? And Confederate flags, well, I'm really not into Confederate flags, and I'm certainly not into the KKK, but I was raised Catholic. I wonder what the difference is. Well, I'll tell you more if I ever learn. Every turn of the screw, her fenders are a bucket of rust and buckled. The tires are bald and thin, and every turn of the screw I give, she fires right back at me again. And the clutch slips and the gears all grind, and the steering wheel, well, she's loose too. But she's my four-wheel drive savior, running on guts and grease. And with every turn of the screw, she gets me where I need. This old truck and her broken dream answers my every plea. She might scream like holy hell when I put the pedal down. The only thing on four wheels that's still left in this godforsaken town. That rolled and pleated upholstery is worn down to the threadbare. 2 quarts of oil to the gallon, and the battery's weak under the head. And the windshield's got a spider crack from a rock that did its worst, or best, depending how you look at it. But the back seat's still like brand new, and she ain't seen the worst. And with every turn of the screw, she gets me where I need. This old truck, a broken dream, answers me every plead. And she might scream like holy blazes when I put the pedal to the metal. And she's the only thing on four wheels that's still left for me. Yeah, the vacuum wipers only work when I'm headed downhill, and I guess that's where we're going, baby. Always have and always will. One headlight winks in the dark, and I use the vice grips on the door. But she's my best friend, this old pickup. I couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for more. She ain't flashy, a little gritty here and there, and every turn of the screw, she gets me from here to there in this old truck. Her loyal heart beyond compare. She might scream like holy hell when I put the pedal down, but she's the only thing on four wheels that's left in this old town. Yeah, with every turn of the screw, she gets me home to you. I wonder how a redneck get the words out of your mouth when you ain't stuttering and lisping, Hairman. How does a redneck like me tenderize roadkill? Well, I just throw her in reverse, this old pickup, and go back and forth between first and reverse. What did the stop sign say to the pickup truck? I could tell you a story about that. I'll tell you a story when I had some cabin fever way up there on the mountain many, many moons ago, and I had this old Volvo. The clutch was loose and everything I talked about before, but she got me from here to there. And there I was up on the mountain alone, putting wood in the fire, and I said, I gotta go down and see my buddy in Albany. That's about 30-something miles. I go, this old truck can make it, but I know she ain't got no brakes. No brakes, no binders. I couldn't put my foot out the door and make her stop because it was too icy and cold and snow, and the snowbanks were high, right up to the windowsills, you might say. And yeah, I got as far as Westerlo, going down the mountain. And when I had to come to a stop out there by 85 to get on the main road, there was a stop sign. Well, I pumped on those binders, but she went right through that sign. Had to prop it back up for the next truck driver, and I said to myself, well, I guess it's time to turn around and head back uphill and throw some hardwood on the fire. Yeah, I call this the Rusted Symphony. The crescent moon cold, socket slips, the wrench groove sun, each bolt backfires biting through. Chassis dream and bold tires weep, black consolations on the night, and she groans, a bucket rusts through. Her clutch slips, her tranny grinds, and her rack and pinion sways. But when I stomp, the engine screams a holy, holy, reeking palm psalm, a frayed dream. Brake lines protest with whispered sighs, the binding shot and the upholstery's thin, yet miles on spool beneath her size. 2 quarts per gallon of oil, that is, Earl, as we say on the hill. Pray to the wind, don't shatter those starry glass eyes, Hairman, where vacuum wipers rest unless we're coasting down the hill. Don't ask me why a vice grip crowns her door, and we press on through the darkness and the snowflakes, through the night, with one headlight arc and one taillight gone, and lug nuts fled and spewed along the way. The back seat's immaculate, stark, you might say, as promises of the past still fled. The battery strains and the paint surrenders, but I can hear her pistons sing unfurled, with every turn of the engine rendering this clanging anthem to the world, with this clanging anthem to the world. And she gets us there, she brings us home, my rust-bound cradle-welded friend, where every loosened bolt and chrome scrape journeys find its faithful end. Now I ask ya, how do you tell a hillbilly like me if they're married, or partnered up, you might say? Don't believe in no preachers. Well, there's tobacco stains on both sides of the pickup door trucks. Or is that the pickup truck's doors? You know, being dyslexic, I get everything backwards between a stuttering and a lisping. I hope everybody has a great day. Oh, yeah. 7 to 9 weekday mornings, deep in the bowels of the Darren Communication Center, 91.5 WRPI Troy, your everything radio station, hanging out with the idiot emeritus, the Hairman Dude.